What's going on, people? So you saw the thumbnail and all the title and whatever. You kind of get what's going on here. And actually, by the time a lot of people see this, the thing will have been over, and I'll have updated the thumbnail with something a little bit more descriptive, a little bit more meaningful, and all that. But whatever. Either way, got a pair of shoes here, right? Because that's kind of the whole thing. So gonna open this box up, see what's in here. Hopefully, what's in here is what I ordered, and then do a quick little review of some kind of sorts, right? And then that'll be the end of that for the most part. I do have some other stuff that I'm going to open up over here, but since this is primarily about this here box of shoes, I'm going to do the shoes first and then the other stuff second, third, fourth, whatever. So that way, if anybody's actually here just to see this, which I assume anybody watching this is, they don't have to sit through a bunch of crap to get to it. And inconveniently, I happen to open this box upside down. Probably would have known that had I been paying a little more attention to that label there, but it is what it is. What's done is done, and it's in the past. There's a side of this particular box. There's a top of this particular box, so you probably have a good idea as to what's in this particular box, right? Now, before I open this, right, real quick, I've said in the past, in private a few times, and in public many times, the Cherry 12, kind of ugly to me, right? I just don't see the appeal. I don't, right? But I am a big 12s guy, so there is that piece of it. So I said, what, a week ago or something in some kind of post, like, oh, well, maybe this is a sign that I should go for those ugly 12s or whatever. I don't really know how I phrase it, but I'm going to stand by it, at least for now, right? Because maybe once I get this little flap turned over, these things won't look as bad as they did in the pictures or whatever. So let's see how it works out, right? Share my live reaction with the two of you watching this video, and one of them is me. So there's that. But either way, let's go ahead and open this thing up. It definitely is in here all weird. It's like they did the flaps this way, then some other flaps that way. It's a unique setup. It's a unique setup for a unique pair of shoes. So here we go. These are the Cherry 12s. Should be in a size 9, right? Real quick, some things about sizing. I find that the 12s go a little big in my personal opinion. Some people in the comments have even agreed with me in the past, right? So I say go down half a size. Honestly, in certain cuts and certain releases, certain materials or whatever, you might be able to get down going a whole size down. But straight half, that should do it for most people, right? But that's just the opinion of me and a handful of others. Luckily, nowadays things don't sell out like they used to. So if you're curious about how 12s fit and all that good stuff, even if you don't care for these or you didn't care for the last ones, go ahead, try a pair on, because eventually they'll probably make a pair you do like. You can try that pair on, and then you'll at least know what to do when the pair you like comes around, right? Because, you know, sometimes things do move a little quicker. So it's at least nice to have an idea of how to expect things to go for you. All right, so here's the thing, right? I'm looking at these for the first time ever. I don't think I've ever seen a pair in the wild, not this year's release or any of the past year's releases. And I gotta say, all that stuff I said before still stands. I'm not a huge fan of this. I'm just not. I don't know what it is, but something about this red and this black, it's just not doing it for me. But, you know, again, I'm a fan of the 12th. I mean, that part's usually pretty cool, sure, whatever. But whatever, that's just my take on it. So either way, rather than sit here and be all negative, I'm going to move on past that, do my personal thoughts up front. Got those out of the way. Let's knock out a quick review. If I can get this box closed, because it's mildly distracting for some odd reason. So here's the thing. We're going to go through all the normal stuff I go through, and then we'll part ways. Deacon of Reality is laughing about something I said. Don't know what I said because I generally don't remember, but I'm sure it was hilarious. Let's start this with the bottom, huh? Down there across the bottom, what you're looking at, standard outsole for a type of 12, right? Down here in the middle piece, it's got this little carbon fiber thing from what I've been told. Anyways, I don't care what it's made of. I just like that little grid thing that they have going on. And it's somewhat of a translucent-ish thread piece, right? Because you can kind of see through it just a little bit. Moving along past all that stuff, it's nothing you haven't seen. Same with this whole midsole, right? They just give you different colors from time to time. This one's got a whole lot of red going on. And then, of course, you got this piece, a little mudguard type of thing. Every now and then they switch up the materials on these. This feels like it's just going to be your standard leather. Nothing amazing as far as the quality, at least not by my opinion. But I'm going to tell you this right now, real quick and real plain. I'm not a materials guy, okay? If you want to know what's good and what's bad, find somebody more knowledgeable than me, which is mostly everybody. So just want to put that out there for you because I don't want you being like, oh, Tristan said they're not good. And then somebody else says, oh, they're fantastic. Like, believe the other person. It's just easier for all of us. All right, moving along past that, though. As far as the rest of this here upper goes and all that good stuff, you got the standard stuff you've always had in the past, which is these little lines and whatnot, because these things were built off of what, the Japanese sun sort of deal. Quick side story for you, right? If you know much about the history in certain parts of Asia, you know that Japan and Korea kind of have a thing going on, right? Rooting back to many, many moons ago. So now the Jordan 12, well, not the 12, but not because it's the 12, but the 12 because of the design, it's kind of not a thing really in Korea. At least it wasn't as of like 2-3 years ago, right? So I was there once, right? And I was looking at this display of Jordan 12s, and they had like from 1 through 30 or whatever, however many they had at the time. But it's actually only 29 pairs because they went straight from 11 to 13. And I was like, huh, well, this sucks. You know, this would have been a cool display otherwise, because me personally, the 12 is my favorite. Either way, let's get back to what we're talking about. Material-wise, this doesn't feel like anything amazing, but again, replay the tape. I've said some things about me and materials. But it's going to be the same on both sides, as you would expect. And one thing that is kind of nice, at least so far, there aren't any blemishes on here, which is uncommon on a lot of the Nike shoes, Jordan shoes that I get. There's usually something to complain about. Maybe I just haven't seen it yet. So anyways, let's move along back over here to the front. Actually, let's not. Let's go around to the back. Back there, you got the Jordan thing, inspired by the greatest player of all time, which is a lie because I've said it a time or two. It's Dennis Rodman. Moving back over to the front, right? Got the tongue, got the 2, 3 down there. You can't quite see it, can you? There's the 3, there's the 2, there's the jump man. All that stuff. Got some leather, some black, right? You've seen it. Down there on the inside, a lot of the same stuff, right? Got a little red jump man dude going on in there, right? Some size tag type thing going on as well. And these little ropey dope laces, right? Very thin, but I do like them. I don't know. That's just one of those things that there's nothing special about these laces whatsoever, but for whatever reason, I like them a lot more than I like a lot of other laces. I don't know if they're as nice as the Yeezy laces. Something about those is just pretty cool, but whatever, that's going on there. And then you got a little bit of silver up on the top piece holding these laces in. So there's that. And a 23 on the back, but you already knew that now, didn't you? So there's that. I've covered the whole look of the thing. I gave you my personal opinion. One other thing, I don't see it on all 12s, but these do have this little notch down there on the bottom right. So I did a comparison between something, I think it was when I did the stealth review, and I pulled out what was the other thing? The cool gray release. I think that was one where I noticed that like they don't always have that little notch down there at the bottom. Does that mean anything to me? It does not. Does it mean anything to some people out there? A whole lot. Yeah, like some people are like, yeah, I don't like that notch. I'm like, I didn't even notice it for years. So, whatever. But I will say again, for the people who might have missed it, personal feelings on these, not amazing. If I had to put in any real work to get them, wasn't happening. I won a raffle from Sneakers and Stuff on Thursday night, maybe Friday morning technically. So that's where this pair came from, which meant, cool, I don't have to do anything to get them. Then I saw on Saturday, I could have saved some money and gone through Finish Line because, I got some rewards points or something. Could have taken $20 off, but hey, whatever. I think I was editing videos at that point anyway, so I didn't really want to break my momentum. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, this is just a visual that maybe if I look at it a little longer, I'll feel a little less bad about it, but I don't see that happening. I like 12s, but I'm not going to lie to you. They can't all be winners, right? Just because it's my favorite Jordan model, I'm not going to sit here and act like every one of them is great. If you've seen the reviews I've done, you know dang well I don't think all of them are great. I buy most of them, right? Whichever ones I can get my hands on. And I'm not always thrilled about it. It is what it is, but whatever. So there's that. If anybody was only here for the shoes, you should just leave now, right? I'm not trying to shoo you away, no pun intended. But the thing is, I'm about to talk about some action figure type things or whatever, and not everybody cares about that. I just want you to know right now, for anybody who's here, I do appreciate you stopping in, but if you only wanted to see the one thing, that one thing is over. So don't sit here and waste your time. I don't like wasting my time, so I just want to put that out there so you guys don't waste yours. Moving along past all that good stuff, unless there's any questions, go ahead and leave those down in the comments section or whatever, and I'll answer them. They don't have to be on topic, but they do have to be readable, right? Because some people say things and I don't know what they're saying. I'm just like, saying English like your sixth language? What is this, right? Anyway, so first up, got this here, some Insane Clown Posse pins, right? This comes from Pro Wrestling Crate. I have got my own pair last year, but I wanted a second pair for, I can't really remember now, but it'll come to me at some point. So that's an eBay purchase. Picked those up from some dude who happened to have them super cheap and was willing to part with them for no shipping. So I was like, yeah, let's do that, right? Moving along. Get this thing opened up here. This is a bag that comes in from Super7. Super7 is the place where I buy a fair amount of action figures and things of that nature, right? But I do buy the occasional shirt, especially when that shirt has ODB on it. As an ODB guy, I felt like this was something that I needed to have. So now I have it, and I can close that chapter of my life or whatever, put that on the checklist and move it on off or whatever. But yeah, quality-wise, their shirts, they're hit and miss. I'm not going to get into the whole thing of it because I don't think that this is the time for that. I'm just going to keep on moving because I got 2 more boxes to open. So this one actually should be one that assuming it's what I think it is, I've been looking forward to this one for a while. So I said before that I'm an action figure guy, right? I've spent a lot more money on that than I probably should. But, you know, childhood nostalgia, man, it gets the best of me. It truly does. So now, let's see, what is going on here? Oh, okay. I looked at the back of this. I'm like, man, this thing is like all messed up. Then I'm like, this doesn't even go with this. I think you just put that in there in case, you know, so I didn't cut too deep into it. Put a little card in here. This guy's getting the good feedback on the eBay, I'll tell you that. And now let's go ahead and get down into this. Any Batman fans out there that have been Batman fans for some time might remember this whole thing, right? So got the Azrael thing from the Knightfall stuff and all that, right? So this is a MAFEX figure, right? It says down there at the bottom, MAFEX. These things usually come in around like $100 a piece. Super nice quality from what I've been told, but this is the first one that I'm actually seeing up close and personal. And yeah, it's pretty nice. I did have to pay a little bit of a price premium, if you will, but the thing is, they only make so many of these. They come from Japan, and they're already pricey. So if you find one on the aftermarket, don't expect to pay less than $100. I paid $135. No, $115 or $115 sounds right. I'm pretty sure this was a $115 purchase. I'd seen them going for around $130, and I was like, okay, every now and then maybe $120. So when I saw that one, I was like, I'm doing this right now, and it's working out pretty fine because it's in perfect shape and it looks freaking fantastic. So, job well done, person on eBay that sold that to me. I'll probably have to add them to my little sellers list so I can, you know, see if they have anything else that I want. You know what I'm saying? Let's see. I love MAFEX. Like, wow. So here's the thing, real quick. Usually I don't get a lot of comments and whatnot during these videos, which is kind of convenient in some ways because I just kind of keep on moving through it. So sometimes I do kind of forget to look at that. That's a mistake on my part. It's a personal flaw. I'm working on it though. Let's do this. Let's pin these things so people know who I'm talking to, right? So, how many pairs of shoes do you own in total? I've received that question many times. I've answered it 0 times because I honestly don't know. I don't count because I feel like I would be bothered by that number, honestly. So I just let it go. I just try to control how many I buy and do that number. But here's the thing, right? If you want some sort of idea, go through, look at like my last couple of quarterly pickup videos, see about how many are in the thumbnails, multiply that number by the fact that I've been buying shoes since in large amounts and irregular numbers, I should say, since 2016, it's probably a fair amount. So, you know, you're going to have to do some math because I can't tell you. I honestly have no idea. I couldn't even ballpark it. And that's a straight shoot, if you will. So it is what it is. And he says, I love MAFEX. Oh, fantastic. I actually just pre-ordered the Knightfall Batman, you know, like the gray and the blue, and the Bane, but they won't come out until I think it's February of 2024 that they're shooting for on those. So it is what it is, but I do like them, and I am probably going to cancel my pre-orders for the Hush, Joker, and Batman and instead order the Daredevil and probably something else, because those are looking pretty good. I might get like an Iron Studios statue instead or something. I don't know, but I just don't think I want the Hush, Joker, and Catwoman as much as I did when I made the pre-order. Luckily, for me at least, when you do Big Bad Toy Store and you put stuff in your little pile of loot, yeah, if you cancel it after 7 days, they give you store credit, but it's a place where I shop regularly, so the store credit just saves me some hassle later. And he says, I have a Michael Jordan figure by them. I had no idea they made like sports people. I thought they only did like comic type things. But who is it? SH Figure Arts. I have some stuff by them. Have a few Power Rangers over there, right? And some Dragon Ball Z guys somewhere. And a wrestler or two. But I have a Freddie Mercury and a Michael Jackson from them. They make some really good stuff. They're a little thinner. They feel a little more frail in a lot of ways. But the articulation is amazing, and the quality is really good too. And okay, so that answer was sufficient for him or her. Great, because like, I know it's not like a real answer, and I kind of don't like to not be able to give people real answers, but that's just one where I don't have one. So any Notorious B.I.G. fans out there, if you are, you might be interested to see what's in this bag, right? If you aren't, you might be not as interested to see what's in this bag, but maybe you'll still stick with me and see what's in it anyway. I don't know. We'll find out. We'll find out. So there we go. So normally I use the TV instead of the monitor, so I don't have this huge glare, but I forgot that I was going to be doing figures, so I didn't change over. Either way, Notorious B.I.G., right? You got him on the front. I guess that's what his signature looked like. This is a Super 7 Ultimates, right? Let's go ahead and get this thing opened up. And so, again, nothing going to be too fancy about this or whatever, because it's really just going to be your standard guy here. If I tilt this up, you might be able to see a little bit better. So that's what the face is looking like. There we go. That's what the face is looking like. I did just get one of these of ODB last week, I think it was. So that one was pretty good. And overall, I mean, he's a pretty plain dude, you know what I mean? It's like not a lot of flash to him. But I picked this up. I want to say if this is an Ultimate, it probably came in around, what do those cost? Like 40 to 50? Sometimes a little higher. I think my glow-in-the-dark Ninja Turtles were 60. So yeah, 40 to 50 sounds about right for this B.I.G. figure here. But head on over to Super 7. Here's the thing, right? For them, they do pre-orders and they say, oh, it's an exclusive pre-order, you can only get it now. And that's mostly a lie, honestly. Because the thing is, every pre-order that I've seen through them has shown up on like Entertainment Earth or Big Bad Toy Store, Amazon, eventually, right? So the only upside to doing the pre-order through them is that you get it before the general public does, as in like the outsiders, right? So if you want to do that, cool, fantastic, give them your money. Otherwise, if you just wait it out, they generally show up everywhere else. So given that these just started shipping out like earlier this week, well, it's Monday, so last week, these things just started shipping out last week. I'd give it a little while, but keep your eyes open. They'll probably have some on their site. They'll probably have some on Big Bad Toy Store, Entertainment Earth, the normal places where you find Super 7 figures. So just because you don't see it right now doesn't mean it's like not available. So give that some thought before you go jumping on eBay and possibly paying more than it's worth. Just something to think about. But yeah, so that's it for me, right? Yeah, that's everything. So again, if anybody has any questions or whatever, please go ahead, throw those in the comments and all, and I'll get to them as I can, because otherwise in a few minutes here, in a few moments here, I should say, I'm going to start wrapping this video up so I can move on and clean up some stuff over there. I got a bunch of shoe boxes out, a bunch of Asics that I was wearing recently. Got to put those back in place and all that stuff. I try to stay organized, so that way when I'm looking for a specific thing, if I want like, oh, the Gel Light 3s, or if I want, what's the word, collaborations and such, I know exactly where to go to get what I need. But that also means it takes a little longer. I don't just throw stuff back in place. So the messes can build up. It's not really a mess. It just looks a little cluttered. It does. But either way, so that's going to be that for me. Enough of my ramblings. Do I see anything in the chats and such? I do not. Okay, cool, fantastic. So thanks again to the people that stopped in and left some comments down in there. I do appreciate it. But tonight I'm going to cut things a little short because I got some other stuff to do, like I just said. From me to you, have a nice rest of your day or rest of your night, whatever it is, wherever you are. I do have some, well, I got some Roosevelt's videos to record or to edit later, so those will probably go up tomorrow, perhaps, I guess. I don't know. We'll see. And then still working through getting my actual shoe reviews edited and all that stuff, which is why I took a little extra time to give this one out to the people right now, because if anybody wants to hear my thoughts now, they don't have to wait. Otherwise, you'd be waiting like probably several weeks, and by that point, who really cares, right? But anyways, thanks again for everybody that showed up. You could have been doing a whole lot of better things with your life, but I'm not going to judge you. Appreciate it. Later, people. Let me find this little end button, and that'll be the end of that.